everyone, and welcome back to Speak and Listen English. I'm Emma, and I am thrilled to be here with all of you today.
And I'm Jack. It's wonderful to be back, Emma. We have an incredible episode prepared for our amazing listeners.
We certainly do, Jack. Before we jump into our main topic, we want to express a massive thank you to everyone supporting our journey. Your likes, shares, and subscriptions truly mean the world to us. They really do. So if you haven't done so yet, please take a quick moment to subscribe to Speak and Listen English. Share this episode with friends who are learning English and hit that like button. It helps us reach more people and continue creating these podcasts for you.
Absolutely. Now, for today's topic, something many of you have been asking about, we are going to discuss the top 5 common English mistakes.
Oh, this is a great one, Jack. I believe everyone, regardless of their level, has made some of these errors. It's completely normal, right?
Totally normal, Emma. That's exactly why we wanted to create this episode. It's not about feeling bad when you make mistakes, it's about learning from them and improving your English. We all make errors, even native speakers occasionally. Okay, Emma, let's begin with our first common mistake. This one often catches people off guard. 2 versus 4.
Ah, yes, that is a classic. Many times English learners use for when they should use to, and vice versa. It can be confusing because in some languages, a single word might cover both meanings.
Exactly. Let's break it down. We generally use to when discussing direction or destination. Think about movement. For instance, I'm going to the store. You are moving in the direction of the store.
That's a fantastic way to visualize it. Or, I walk to school every day. You are heading toward the school. It's all about movement towards something.
Right? Now, for is typically used to indicate purpose or benefit. So, I bought this present for my mom. The purpose of buying the gift is for your mom. She is the one benefiting from it.
Yes, that makes perfect sense. Another example, this cake is for the party. The purpose of the cake is the party. Or, I study English for my job. The benefit of studying English is for my career.
So, if you say, I bought a coffee to you, that sounds a bit strange, doesn't it? It should be, I bought a coffee for you. You are purchasing it for their benefit.
Precisely. Or, I need to talk for you. No, it should be, I need to talk to you. You are directing your speech towards them. It concerns the recipient of the action.
So, a helpful little trick is to ask yourself, am I going somewhere? Am I giving something to someone? Or am I talking to someone? If yes, it's probably to. And if you're thinking, what is the reason or who benefits from this, then it's likely for. It takes practice, but once you get the hang of it, it becomes much more natural.
Okay, Jack, moving on to our second common mistake. This is another pair that often causes confusion. Say versus tell.
Oh, this is a big one. I hear this mistake frequently. Can you say me your name? Or he told that he was tired?
Exactly. Let's clarify. The main difference between say and tell often depends on whether you mention the listener or not.
That's a good way to put it. We usually use say when we're simply stating something and don't necessarily mention who we're speaking to. For example, he said that he was tired. We don't specify who he said it to.
Perfect example. Or she said hello. Again, we don't know who she said hello to, just that she said it. It focuses more on the words spoken. Now, tell almost always requires an object after it, meaning you need to state who you are telling something to. So, he told me that he was tired. Here, me is the object.
Yes. Or she told her friends a funny story. Her friends is the object. You must specify who received the information.
So you wouldn't say she told a story without mentioning who she told it to. You would say she told a story to us, or more commonly, she told us a story.
That's correct. Think of tell as needing a receiver of the information. tell me, tell him, tell us. But with say, you just speak the words. He said hello, she said goodbye.
So if someone asks you, "What did she say?" you might reply, "She said she was busy." You don't need to add me after said. But if they ask, "What did she tell you?" then you would say, "She told me she was busy." The you in the question prompts the me in the answer.
It's all about that direct object, the recipient of the information. Once you start paying attention to that, say and tell become much more clear. All right, Emma, our third common mistake is one that even native speakers sometimes get wrong, so don't feel bad about this one. Affect versus effect.
Oh, this is a tricky one, and it's difficult because they sound so similar, yet they are usually different parts of speech.
Exactly. The easiest way to remember this is that affect is almost always a verb. It means to influence or have an impact on something. Think of it as an action. So, for example, the rain will affect our plans. The rain is actively influencing or changing the plans.
Right, it's the action of influencing. Now, effect is almost always a noun. It refers to the result or outcome of an action. Think of it as the consequence. So if the rain affects our plans, then the effect might be that we have to stay home. The rain caused something to happen, and that something is the effect.
Perfect. Or his words had no effect on her. The result of his words was nothing. There was no change. Another way to think about it, cause and effect. The new law will affect everyone. The law is the cause. It will influence people. The effect of the new law was a lot of changes. The changes are the results.
Sometimes people try to remember it by thinking of A for action and E for opposite. That can be a helpful mnemonic.
Yes, that can assist. And while there are rare exceptions where effect can be a verb meaning to bring about, like to effect change, and affect can be a noun like a psychological term, for everyday English, just remember affect is a verb, to influence, and effect is a noun, the result. If you stick to that rule, you'll avoid this mistake almost every time. It's a very common one, so mastering it will make your English sound much more natural.
Jack, our fourth common mistake is something we hear quite often, especially regarding groups or teams. It's the mix-up between is and are with collective nouns.
Oh, this is a classic. Phrases like, the team are playing well, or the family is coming. It can be confusing because the word itself looks singular, but represents many people.
Exactly. A collective noun is a noun that appears singular but refers to a group of individuals. Common examples include team, family, government, audience, group, committee. So the rule of thumb is if you're thinking of the group as one single unit acting together, you use is, singular verb.
Yes, for example, the team is playing well. Even though there are many players, they are acting as one team. Or my family is visiting next week. They're coming as one unit, my family, right? Or the government is meeting today. The government acts as a single entity making decisions.
Now, if you're thinking of the individual members within that group acting separately, you use are, plural verb. This is where it gets a bit nuanced. For example, the team are putting on their shoes. Here, you're thinking of each individual player putting on their own shoes, not the team as a single unit doing it.
That's a great example. Or my family are arguing about what movie to watch. Here, the individual members of the family are having separate arguments. They are not acting as one single unit arguing. So often, if it's an action that each person in the group performs individually, you might use are. If it's an action the group as a whole performs, you use is. In American English, it's very common to use is with collective nouns most of the time, even when referring to individual actions. For example, the team is putting on their shoes is often accepted. However, in British English, it's more common to use are when the individual members are emphasized. That's a valid point about the difference between American and British English. But for learners, a safe bet is often to use is with collective nouns when you're talking about the group acting as a single unit. It's less likely to sound incorrect. And when in doubt, try to rephrase. Instead of the team are happy, you could say the players on the team are happy, which clearly indicates the plural. But sticking to the unit versus individuals rule is a good start.
All right, Jack, we've reached our fifth and final common mistake for today, and this one involves comparing things, less versus fewer.
Ah, yes, this is another one that gets mixed up quite a bit. I have less problems, or there are fewer sugar. Exactly the kind of examples we hear. The key difference here is whether the noun you're talking about is countable or uncountable. Let's start with fewer. We use fewer for things we can count individually. Think of items you can point to and count one by one.
So, for example, I have fewer books than you. You can count books, 1 book, 2 books, 3 books. Or there are fewer cars on the road today. You can count cars.
Right? Fewer people, fewer mistakes, fewer apples. If you can put a number in front of it, use fewer. Now, less is used for things that are uncountable, or that we think of as a mass or quantity. We can't count them individually, like water, sugar, time, or information. You don't say 1 water, 2 waters. You say some water, a lot of water.
Precisely. So I have less water in my glass. You can't count individual waters. Or I have less time than you. You measure time, but you don't count it as individual units in this context. Another good example, he has less money. Now, while you can count individual dollars or euros, money itself is often treated as an uncountable noun in a general sense.
Yes, so less traffic, less stress, less information. If you can't easily count it, use less. A simple way to remember it is fewer for things you can count, things you can number. Less for things you can measure, things you can quantify but not number.
That's a great distinction. And while you might hear less people in very informal speech, it's grammatically incorrect. To sound more polished and correct, always aim for fewer people. This one, like the others, takes a little practice to make it automatic, but once you get it, you'll notice how often it's used correctly and incorrectly.
So, there you have it. Our top 5 English mistakes that many learners make. We've talked about to versus for, say versus tell, affect versus effect, is versus are with collective nouns, and less versus fewer. And remember, making mistakes is a natural part of learning. The important thing is to be aware of them and keep practicing. Every mistake is a step closer to speaking more confidently and correctly.
Absolutely. The best way to improve is to actively try to use these corrections in your speaking and writing. Don't be afraid to try. And if you're ever unsure, that's what we're here for. You can always re-listen to this episode or look up more examples online. There are tons of resources out there.
Yes, and speaking of resources, we'd love for you to subscribe to Speak and Listen English if you haven't already. It helps us grow and bring you more great content like this. Don't forget to share this episode with anyone you know who is learning English. It could really help them too. And we want to hear from you. Leave us a comment below and tell us which of these mistakes do you find most challenging, or have you successfully overcome one of these common errors? Share your experience. We love reading your comments and getting your feedback. It helps us understand what you need and what topics you'd like us to cover next.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Speak and Listen English. Keep practicing, keep learning, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye, everyone.
See you next time.